Hello and thank you for tuning in. Happy New Year to you and to your entire family. I hope your new year is full of prosperity and all of your investments prosper. Now, we all know that 2013 was possibly a year to forget in the real estate sector. There was a clear dip in consumer sentiment. As investors and as consumers, we waited around to see those prices come down, and a lot of us were not satisfied by what we saw. Today, we're going to look forward into 2014, find out what's going to be different. Should you be starting that new year in a new home? And if you should, then where should you go hunting first? We have wonderful experts on the panel today, and I'm very excited to get started. We'll focus on specific cities. In every city, we'll give you a list of locations that make the most sense for you to buy in 2014, keeping in mind the future. And in every city, again, we'll give you a list of properties and projects that you can focus on. So what you need to do right now is grab a pen and paper, write down our email ID, and of course, write down the advice you hear on the show, because we have such a fantastic lineup of guests. Om Ahuja, CEO of Residential Services, Joan Lang LaSalle; Sanjay Dutt, Executive Managing Director, South Asia, Cushman & Wakefield; and in Delhi, Jayashree Kurup, Head of Content and Research at magicbricks.com. Let's begin the show by discussing what was the strongest market in 2013 and promises to continue to remain strong in the years to come. Bangalore, one of India's IT hubs. And I'm going to very quickly go with each of our guests to find out. Sanjay, in Bangalore, if you were to pick a location that you are most bullish on for the future residential property, what would that be?
So really in Bangalore, with 8.5 million square feet of absorption of office space, which is largely concentrated on Outer Ring Road, Hebbal, Yelahanka, I would go for these locations for residential, because that's where the future upside in residential prices would be.
Hebbal, Yelahanka hasn't run up too much already?
There is certain projects which have actually been there for a while, and therefore there is still an upside, some new projects which are being launched. So Sushil Mantri, Purvankara, some new projects which are being conceived right now. And in fact, the specification of these projects are superior than the ones which came in earlier. So I think with subdued market sentiments, the project launches are far more realistic in pricing. And therefore, if you were to concentrate only in these pockets, because of high economic activity and office space absorption, the absorption of these locations for end user would be very high. So that means the future demand for these locations, if you're an investor and not really an occupier, you would be able to exit at a better value.
All right, Hebbal and Yelahanka, Om?
I would say Outer Ring Road would be a better option, and that would be a very good option, safer option in terms of considering.
You mean Sarjapur Road?
Sarjapur Road, okay. Outer Ring Road. And the other one would be basically the Whitefield. In our view, it can be a dark horse. At this pricing, we can't basically go wrong there.
Jayashree, given the action that you're seeing on the website right now, where do you think the most profit is going to be if we're talking about Bangalore?
North Bangalore primarily, I would agree with Hebbal, Yelahanka. Take it one step further and go to Thanisandra, because you're seeing a lot of, there's already the Manyata Tech Park there, and you see a lot of IT space coming up in the Bharatiya city and so on. So future prospects, I would say even Thanisandra is not bad. I would like to put a small rider here that North Bangalore, while there is fantastic real estate coming up in all categories, there is a serious problem of water. So if you are buying a project, do check out that you will be serviced with good water, and don't have to rely on tanker supplies in the future. And Marthahali, Whitefield, I would say that there too you see a lot of action. On the site, I think end users are moving towards the Whitefield area. If you're working anywhere there, coming back to town seems to be a nightmare, so they are looking very actively at that area.
All right, so that's Bangalore. If you're working in any of these areas, you want to live close to where you work. But if you're an investor, you're looking for the mid-caps. Jayashree telling us Thanisandra. We also talked about Sarjapur, Whitefield, and Yelahanka and Hebbal. Take a look at projects in these locations that might be of interest to you. If you're looking to buy a home in Bangalore, here are some investment options in the recommended locations. Misty Waters by Prestige Developers, Nitesh Columbus Square in Yelahanka, Enchant by Olympia Group, Nitesh Cape Cod in Balandur, Shilpita Splendor by My3 Developers, Breathe by Avzen Realty, and Niku Homes by the Bharatiya Group in Thanisandra. You wrote that down. Let's move on now to Pune. If we are talking about IT hubs, we shouldn't be leaving Pune behind. And the interesting thing about Pune is the amount of run-up we've seen, and the fact that the space between Pune and Mumbai closing in on a regular basis. Om, I'm going to start with you. Pune is not a mid-cap anymore. It's priced fairly high. Where would you like us to focus our attention?
Well, I would say the kind of new activity which is happening in Pune in terms of new corporates moving in there, specifically on the IT space. We see a lot more action in Hinjewadi happening in next 1 or 2 years at least. And that will actually create more demand. And we believe specifically Khardi is a pocket where we believe the pricing at this point of time seems very attractive.
What about you, Sanjay?
In terms of future growth, Hinjewadi, Balewadi, which is near Baudhan, and Pune is also very unique. There is a traditional local population which prefers the Deccan area. If you're a migrant from other cities, they prefer the camp and cantonment area. So both are attractive. I think since Hinjewadi
Isn't camp and cantonment a little priced out right now?
I think it's priced out. I think Balewadi, Baudhan, Wakad, which has also been there for a while, but because of increased focus and activity in Hinjewadi, 3 IT parks and Blackstone, Ascendas, and few others, IDFC also making further investment, I think the economic activity over the next 3 years in Hinjewadi will pick up. So I think you, depending on your budget, if you can afford a little bit of more, be in Balewadi. If your budget is limited to 4,000 to 5,000, you can actually go to Hinjewadi and you see the upside.
Jayashree, we'd all like to really be in Koregaon Park when it comes to Pune, but tell us what pockets there are within the city right now where we can possibly consider second sale apartments, look at making an investment that will still go up because of location.
Areas like Aund, Baner and so on, which rose to fame maybe in the early 2000s, those have got a fresh lease of life, and you're seeing they're close enough to town, and I see a lot of action there in Aund and Baner Road. So I would say that those are the areas I would still consider.
Someone who's looking to buy in Pune in 2014, what's your advice?
If you're an investor, do enter at a reasonable cost and somewhere maybe early on in the development cycle, or not later than middle of the development cycle, so that you do get some leverage value out of your investment. The second thing is, do look for places. If you're planning to hold on to it for say 3-5 years and the project is going to take off in the next 2 years, do see that there is a rental return, because that always helps.
So that's advice for those of you looking at Pune, and of course you have that European weather in Pune right now. So here's a look at all of the projects in Pune that might be of interest to you. Here's what our experts recommend in Pune. In Aund and Baner, pristine Royale, and Barissa by Marvel Realtors, Park Grandeur by Pride Purple Group, Aspire by the Canal Group, Equatorial by the Naitri Group, Pebbles 2 by Abhinav Group, Ashok Meadows by Peninsula Land, Eon Homes by Kasturi Homes, Blue Ridge by Paranjpe Schemes, Tuscan Estate and Downtown by Kolte Patil, and Forest County by the Vascon Group. Time for us to take a very short break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, all of our experts will stay with us. We'll talk about Mumbai. We'll also talk about why Hyderabad might be something to keep our eye on in the new year. Don't go anywhere.